when you go to a gym for long enough, you get to know a lot of people. And so there's been one guy that I've never spoken to who's very intimidating. He is a big dude who is only hitting the heavy bag or the speed bag. He's always training, it looks like, for a fight. And he's tattooed, I mean, heavily from forehead to toe. I mean, very, very heavily tattooed. And me being new into the tattoo game, I just am so intrigued by the culture around tattooing, all the different genres, the people, the walks of life that are involved in it. And I've always been intrigued by this guy because of, I mean, how many tattoos. This guy, I mean, the webbings of his toes are tattooed. His armpits are tattooed, everything. And so I had never seen yet to this point anyone at all say a word to this guy. Never see him utter a single word. He's in the sauna. He's in the locker room. Like I said, he's hitting the bags all the time. And so I noticed last week when I was in the gym, or a couple days ago, whenever it was, I noticed that he got a part of his arms blacked out. On both arms. And so what you do when you're heavily tattooed and you don't want to see some of the tattoos you've gotten in the past before, instead of getting them lasered off, which is expensive, it's very time consuming, it's really hard to fully get off, and it's extremely painful. A lot of times, which is debatable if it looks better or not, people just get their artist to just basically shade over their tattoos with black ink. And then, for example, if it's a tattoo sleeve they don't want to see, their entire arm is just black, which is very controversial. A lot of people don't like the way it looks. I personally am not a fan of it either. But this guy, the way the blackout sleeve worked, it kind of was like worked into his tattoos. I think it looks sick. And so I thought this was an opportunity to finally say what's up to this guy and see what's good with him. So I said, hey man, like, took my headphone. I was like, hey man, like I like your blackout sleeve, and I don't normally like them. I mean, what do you think about them? Why'd you get that? And this guy, I swear to God, looked so happy to just speak with me. I mean, it was amazing. This guy keeps to himself clearly, and we started chopping it up. I mean, for like 20 minutes, it basically ruined my workout, but it was worth it because I got to know this guy on a personal level, and he basically told me, I mean, he probably has had some dark stuff in the past. He told me that, I mean, the reason why he blacked those tattoos out is because he just couldn't stop or he couldn't stand to stare at old memories and things like that. And he was giving me advice, couldn't be nicer. He was telling me how he got his first tattoos at 16. So now myself, who's been getting a lot of tattoos, and now I'm getting my forearm done in July, how like, just, hey man, just make sure you know what you're doing. And I'm sure you do, because you're like obviously a lot older than I was when I started, but super nice in that regard. I found out that he is a fighter. He fights. He got he fought his second professional, like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, sanctioned fight. And he won. He's 2-0. And so he was training for his third fight. And he also is like, because he doesn't like dealing with people, he used to be a tattoo artist, which kind of makes sense for how heavily tattooed he is. But now he owns a bike shop where he fixes up motorcycles and makes them from the ground, kind of like a Jesse James, Orange County Choppers type thing, West Coast Choppers type thing. And just a really cool guy. And it was awesome to speak to someone who is so out of my lane and so not someone I'd come across on a daily basis, like in the same bubble as me. So I was glad to speak with that guy, and I think that it made his day to hear someone like me compliment his tattoos. I asked him a bunch of questions about them with like a genuine curiosity, which I'm sure he doesn't get a lot. I'm sure a lot of people kind of just look away at him, or they give him dirty looks, and so I think it was really cool to just speak to him on a real human level. And which reminds me of, I'm getting my tattoos in July. Most likely it's going to be a sick trip. I'm going to Montreal, getting my tattoos there, which is where my artist is, and bringing a couple friends with me, and we're seeing Drake in Montreal with 21 Savage, which is going to be sick. I mean, he shouts out Montreal in the last album, Her Loss. He clearly is from Canada, so I'm curious to see if he'll bring out any special guests. And it's cheaper than the Garden for GA. It's like not that bad, so it'll be a fun time. And yeah, I mean, I'm taking the leap. I'm getting my forearm tatted the front, bang, which is relevant for two reasons. One, because I like watches, obviously, so now like every time I wear a watch, it's gonna be like tattoos are gonna be there. And second of all is like t-shirt wise, like for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be a tattoo gentleman. But it's something I've given a lot of thought. I really like my artist. I love the themes of what I want to do. I'm not going to spoil what I'm getting, so you'll see it when it's done. But yeah, I'm super excited about it. It's going to be a pain in the ass getting the tattoos in the summer, though. I got my first tattoo last May, which obviously is the beginning of summer kind of thing, and that was a pain in the ass. It still wasn't fully summer, and that was on my leg, which was easier to hide. This is going to be bang on my forearm, so I'm going to have to, the appointment's in the middle of July, so it's going to be like probably until the middle of August until I'm fully healed. And so I'm going to have to shield that from the sun very well, put a lot of sunscreen on. And that was something I was cracking up about before. I don't know if this is like a New York thing or an Italian thing, but I remember like when I was a kid, I had so much pride in the idea that like I don't have to put sunscreen on. Like all my Irish friends, all my light-skinned friends, they'd have like fair-skinned. Every time we'd go to the beach or anywhere, their parents would be like bitching at them to put on sunscreen and like reapply and all that shit. And I thought I was the coolest fucking guy. I was like, sunscreen? Like, I've never put on sunscreen in my life. I've never been sunburnt. Like every time I would say that, I probably said, yo, I've never been sunburnt like 80 times in my life. And as I've gotten older, I've definitely gotten sunburnt. So that's something to keep an eye out for. But yeah, I'm gonna have to lather this thing up, this tattoo when I get it up, or it's multiple tattoos, with like zinc oxide, like heavy mineral sunscreen to block the UV rays, because you don't want to. The worst thing that can happen is you get a tattoo, you pay a lot of money for it, you travel for it, it's gonna be on your body your whole life, and then you ruin it with the sun and it gets damaged. Having said that, American traditional, especially black and gray, it's very difficult. Eli Quinters, which is one of my other artists from New York, very famous guy, he told me on my first tattoo, he's like, dude, like, you could do whatever the fuck you want with that too. You could sit in a tanning bed. Like, that's not going nowhere. Like, this is a bold lines, American traditional, like, biker piece. Like, you're going to be all right. So that settles my stomach a little bit, no pun intended, but you still want to protect it. You want to make it look as good as possible. So that's really it. Hey guys, you know the deal. It's Johnny Action here. I want to thank you for watching the podcast. If you could, like the video, hit me with a comment. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, thanks for watching.